Hey guys, S-Doom here, and with the new Smash 4 character Rosalina being announced at Nintendo's most recent Direct a couple of days ago, I thought I'd give an attempt at an analysis of what we've seen of the character, as well as offer up some impressions and thoughts. So, without further ado, let's get stuck in. So, after that gorgeous, if a little misleading, CGI cutscene, we're introduced to Rosalina. As she leaps up, it's pretty clear that she'll most likely be a floaty, elegant character, not unlike, say, Peach or Zelda. However, after that we don't get much of an idea of how heavy she will be. Will she be floaty heavyweight like Samus, or lighter like Peach or Zelda? After this we're introduced to the main gimmick of her moveset being her little Luma body, as she summons him to the battlefield, most likely using her down B. This in principle is not unlike how Olimar summons his Pikmin. However, unlike Olimar, this animation seems very slow, taking approximately 2.5 seconds to complete, with Luma appearing about halfway through, compared to Olimar, who can easily pluck all 6 of his Pikmin in about a second. So it looks like players are going to have to carefully time when they summon their Luma, otherwise Rosalina will be left extremely punishable. This is followed by a sort of charging attack by the Luma, most likely as Rosalina's side B attack, as well as what looks like a jab combo performed by Rosalina and mimicked very slightly later by the Luma, drawing a comparison to how the Ice Climbers mimic each other. We then get a clip of Rosalina performing what looks to be a forward smash on the villager, followed by a side B to send the Luma in to attack the villager's recovery from a distance by firing off some star bits, returning back to Rosalina off screen after the attack. As we can see, the Luma in this clip is red as opposed to yellow. Could different coloured Lumas have different properties like Olimar's different Pikmin, or are the colours purely cosmetic? This also begs the question, what does Rosalina's side B do if she doesn't have a Luma out? Does it just do nothing like many of Olimar's moves, or something different entirely? Also, anyone notice that the pose adopted by Rosalina here for her forward smash looks remarkably similar to Chun-Li's heavy Kokoken fireball from the Street Fighter games? That's probably purely coincidence. Next up we see Rosalina hanging on the ledge with the Luma floating by her side. Not too much to note, though we do get another brief look at the Pilot Wind stage in motion. This next clip I find pretty interesting. We see Rosalina and the green Luma attacking in tandem with each other, doing the same jab combo from before. However, there's a few things to note here. The first being that this jab sequence is the only one in the entire Smash series that is a 3-part jab that hits the opponent upwards instead of forwards. The other jab combos that hit the foes upwards are Donkey Kong's and Wario's, both of which are 2-part jabs. The second is how much knockback the jab combo dealt, as well as the fact that the Luma's combo looks like it packs a bit more punch. Both Mario and Luigi got sent quite far from this combo string, with Luigi being hit a fair bit further than Mario, despite the fact that the characters are both similar weight. However, this may just be due to the fact that they may have received a lot of damage prior to the clip. The last point is the fact that the two are facing opposite directions, whereas in all previous clips they were facing the same direction. Rosalina turns around just after the Mario Bros start charging their up smashes, but the Luma remains facing the same direction. Could this mean potential desyncing tricks similar to those of the Ice Climbers? Next up, we see her inching forward steadily whilst in a crouching pose, most likely in a crawl. It looks roughly the same speed as Luigi's crawl, so it's pretty standard. This is then followed by Rosalina being trapped in DK's cargo grab, but then being freed by her Luma, much like how one Ice Climber is able to free the other from grabs by attacking. We then see Rosalina performing her jab a couple of times again, spaced away from her Luma. Unlike the clip with the Luma shooting the star bits at the villager, however, the Luma doesn't return to Rosalina here. This could potentially mean the Luma doesn't return back to Rosalina unless the side B is used again. Or either that, or it could just return after using a special. Here, Rosalina and the Luma dash towards Samus, who proceeds to fire her charge shot, which hits the Luma but not Rosalina, who then hits Samus with a rather elegant looking dash attack. The Luma doesn't get hit too far by Samus's charge shot here, despite the fact that it's probably fully charged, so one could assume that the Luma has its own damage meter independent of Rosalina, again much like the Ice Climbers. To further justify this, the next clip shows the Luma getting hit by Mega Man's charged forward smash and being sent flying and disappearing into a small explosion. Aww. Interestingly, it doesn't look as the Luma hit the blast zone, so it looks like Lumas also have a certain amounts of health like Olimar's Pikmin. But then this begs the question as to why Mega Man's forward smash did so much more knockback to the Luma than Samus's charge shot. a move that is likely as strong if not stronger than Mega Man's forward smash, especially considering that Sakurai stated before that had been buffed in the previous image of the day. Could it be that it suffers more knockback from attacks the lower its health is? Something like that will be looked more into as we draw closer to release. The next 3 clips show off Rosalina doing what looks to be her down smash, up tilt and down air meteor smash attacks respectively, with the Luma attacking alongside her for the first 2. The down smash and down air are also not too dissimilar to Zelda's down smash and down air in Melee and Brawl, though most notably is the fact that her attacks seem to have a lot of disjoint to them, with hitboxes being marked with swirling galaxy graphics as seen with forward and down smashes, or magical rings as seen with up tilt and down air. Even though she has her Luma with her to give the moves additional punch, she seems pretty capable by herself. One can only assume that her attacks don't deal too much damage or knockback by themselves, considering how much range they have even without the Luma. We then finally see Rosalina pulling out her first throw, a back throw on Fox with a flick of her wand. Will the Luma be able to grab and throw as well? If so, it could lead to potentially crazy chain grab possibilities, much like the Ice Climbers. Part of me doubts this, however, but that's just some intuition. She then soars in a large arc with what we can safely presume to be her up B due to her entering a helpless state at the end of it. Unless this move has a hitbox attached to it or some kind of invincibility, it looks like a very unsafe and linear recovery option that will easily be intercepted by other attacks and edge guards. Next up is what looks to be Rosalina using her neutral B around a bunch of items, including one thrown by Marth to draw them all around her, followed by a clip of her redirecting Mario's Flood with the same move. A very interesting sort of property that we haven't really seen in previous Smash games. Personally, I'm curious to see how it interacts with the other characters. Could it just blow them back, spin them around, or reverse them like the cape? Also, did you catch the fact that it uses the little cursor from Galaxy? I think that's a quite nice touch. We then see Toon Link doing his Wind Waker taunt alongside Rosalina, waving her hand in the same fashion as she did when she summoned the Luma, and another glimpse of the up B with a blue Luma. However, when she waved her wand, no Luma was summoned, and there's no Luma in sight on screen. Is it just a case of the Luma being off screen, or maybe there's some kind of time limit Rosalina has before she can summon another Luma? Next clip is a shot of the Luma busting down the villager's tree with a star bit attack from before, and what looks like a dash attack, with Wii Fit Trainer doing some stretches in the background. Looks like Villager's going to need to keep an eye on that tree whilst he's fighting. The next clip's very cool. Rosalina grabs Pit, forward throws her into the Luma, who then lands an up smash, and finally Rosalina chases and lands what looks to be an elegant multi-hit up air to finish the combo. Just a glimpse of some of the creative possibilities this character could potentially offer, as well as what looks like increased hit stun from Brawl. Finally, to close the gameplay, we have the Luma deftly evading the Villager's grab, then being called back to Rosalina as the two share an adorable taunt together. Well, that's my analysis of the character. So what do I think? Well, I'm super happy with her inclusion in Smash 4. Whilst I do feel there's a saturation of characters from the Mario universe, and actually I'm not even too huge of a fan of Rosalina as a character. I do prefer her over a lot of other Mario characters, but she's not huge on my list. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think this is too much of a problem. For me, whilst it's important for Nintendo to celebrate as much of their history as possible, it's just as, if not more important, that they create a cast of creative and interesting characters. Sakurai and his team have done an amazing job with her conceptually, and they were way more creative with her moveset than I could have possibly thought they would be. It's wonderful to see a puppeteer character in Smash, and honestly, in terms of the remaining Mario Universe characters, Rosalina was probably the best choice anyway, considering how much more relevance she has now. Not to mention she's a beautifully presented character so far. Her model looks great, particularly the reflective metallic effect she has on her dress. Makes it seem all cosmic and magical. And her animation quality is far superior to that of all the other newcomer characters. The poses are very expressive and the arcs of her movement are very fluid. It reminds me quite a bit of Mewtwo's animations in Melee, strangely enough. But yeah, overall I'm very excited about this character and eager to see more Smash 4 news. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video, and be sure to check out again for more Smash 4, Project M and other games. This is Silent Doom signing out.